Tell them, what do you think? The banana? No? No banana? I think that was no good. Honestly. I think it was bad. Like so many things. was feeling fine, walked outside. Me and this one, and we both with the rain all night. And we know with the rain comes many things. And then all of a sudden, I felt like total opposite. I felt, excuse me, being, and I saw it in somebody walking by too, who's always chipping up. All of a sudden, they looked all like, and you don't commit to it. I'm going to give you all some advice today. I don't want to curse. I'm not going to do all that no more. It's no need. Platform doesn't want it anyway. Vulgar. It used to be the first 30 seconds or minute or whatever. Now, if you're using foul language, which makes sense to me. I always say, if you cannot communicate, you're as bad as those stuck in the suburbs with this gang mentality. Weapons, like the people that made a lot of fiat on here doing those like video games, like shooting violent. And some would think that that is a form of control. It is, yet where's the narrative coming from? But what I want people to know is, even in the docility that they're attempting to create, there's a reality in it. The other part, though, which is not good, is that the disease, the sickness, those perpetuating it, they're not going to stop. You could be 100% right about something, and it doesn't matter with them. It doesn't matter at all. I think it really busted a bubble yesterday when I said there's no such thing as a president. President is like a CEO, CFO, something of a company, corporation, right? The president has nothing to do, the laws have nothing to do with us on this land, nor of this land. The 40 acres of DC, where they at? Yes. They're pretty much saying they make laws, and they're saying to hell with the Constitution and the Second Amendment. That impedes to remove your First Amendment, because now you can't protect the fact of what you want to say and what you need to say. And the fourth, protect it safe in your own being with your own stuff, which they have been going against ever since. What is startling is the people who are ex-military, this, that, and other, and these people that took oaths, they seek certain individuals. They hire certain individuals who don't care about none of that, especially people who have become plutonic with mayhem, death, chaos, as if it's a good thing. You see, they utilize the movie and the media to put that information out there. You always saw the news talking about the lives lost in the fire with their fake, but what you don't see is them having sipping wine and popping their pills and everything else on the set, cursing and the whole light. The liability lies with you, nobody else, nothing else. It's like the people that come in and they run out. It's not my loss. I expected us to be around 3,500, 4,000 to 5,000 by now, and me telling the story. It shows me that they control their narrative. I was hoping that the majority of you could control your narrative. Whether it be an empty soul, an empty physical, whatever it may be. Y'all, so many of y'all will not like how the story ends. And then again, maybe it doesn't end the way people think it does. I don't know. I know what I've said, but I must say I don't know. It's not for everybody. Life. We throw that word around, don't we? Oh, I talked with him. I'm going to share something with you this morning. This AM. We are in morning. You should be. And it's not going to stop until we stop it. I must be platonic in saying that with myself. and my vestige of 5, which makes it 6. That was a riddle. My cat, my little brother, a 4-legged, little sentient being, was in the hallway, and he. So what I did was, I would say words based upon 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 syllables, and every time I said something, whether it be 2, 3, 4, or 3, he mimicked the syllables. And I knew then that he was really always communicating. And it was more or less by his motions of his body. Because see, unlike us, he remembers what all the cats before him remembered. The abandonment, when I found him, is clearly in him, because when I leave, he stays in the window. No water, no bathroom, no food. It was like that with my service animal, even though she knew better. But she knew how to go and eat and everything and come back to the door and wait. Is it abandonment? I believe I believe that word is far. I believe that word to be overreaching. Yet, we can use it because that's what it alludes to. And though it's not abandonment, you never know when you may return, if you return. They sense things that we should be able to sense as well. The enemy is an enemy of self without knowledge or knowing of it. Even with me saying so, they would never know it. Because a disease is a disease until it is removed or it is cured. And if the disease is not removed nor cured, it progresses. And it progresses until it becomes violently against all that which it is occupied. I can see your time is short. But what would that do? Besides inferiority complexes, it would drive a force factor of speaking something into reality. The sad part is, it is true. But I don't want you to have libations with that. I don't want you to drink of that. But the reality is, I believe that y'all need to hear. Your time is short. Here. It is very short. It mitigates no connection, no reality to the outworld, to the outside. Almost stagnant, like something stuck on a wall. I am between two bodies of perverseness, two bodies of fiction. And they are convinced, after all they've seen, that they are doing the right thing. If a man wants to say that he is two people, he is deemed crazy. Now, if a man says he is two people, but in another gender, and changes his name to a third, like Babette or Marguerite, and then changes his sex, he has found himself. Do you see the hypocrisy, the control, and the narrative of the mindless? Do you see what is all encompassing? Have you paid attention to their own death? while you become part of a new death because of their arrogance and ignorance? Who remembers me saying that if I took 20 children, put them on an island, and made them believe that red was blue and blue was red, as far as what we significantly believe, that if they were to grow and have 3 generations of children on them, and you were to go and impose upon them that the blue was blue and the red was red, you could, with a mitigator, an instigator, Rothschild, Bilderbergs, man, all those families, create a war with an antagonist, CIA, OSS, MI6, Mossad, secret police. I can go on and on about this. And you can have those 2 bodies of individuals, those raised in ignorance and absentia, feeding them good food, with those you have been poisoning and polluting great numbers, and technocrats and everything else, and raise a war easily. Are you paying attention? What would have the need, or I want you to see, what would the need be for that? Let's say there is a Satan, and it knows all things, but it was cut from the root of the truth. Or let's say there were many, like Legion, and they had no knowledge forbade that was taken and removed, that they commit themselves to this of your destruction, and all that which follow it, hyped and based upon lies. What is the purpose out of all of this destruction? Amnesia? A fact of hate? For what? What is the purpose and what is the gain? Every time I'm in one of these veteran groups and I see the sadists, I see those who find laughter as comfort in death and mayhem, and the jokes, new age, like Kilroy, beyond the scope of that, as if that is the norm. Do you see where I'm going? They have made the most arbitrary, words wisely, they have made the greatest mistake ever, and they don't even know it. Even a wolf, hurt and maimed, who can only stand up on his 2 fronts, or even on none, will still bite and howl and scream with every last ounce of breath into his last fight. Yet you people have no true fight in you. Man, you're not even maimed, but you're lame. You are comfortable in your purgatory, a wolf in the corner knowing it's about to be destroyed, would not off itself, would not rip its guts out. Excuse me, no violence needed. There's a reason, and there's a place, a pontiff place that I need to qualify or quantify you in. I didn't tell you that you're the most powerful being because I want you to believe me. I told you that because it is a reality. I know that you will not accept. And I know the wayward individuals, and I'm not here to bash them, nor the trolls or anybody, will not accept. But you talked about the police. I don't care about the police. It's a label, a name, jimmied up with a badge and a costume, a piece of metal, a tin, an alloy, the least training of all, allowed to take TRT and testosterone and steroids. I know many of them who don't know the law and who have been relegated by certain individuals in higher places, in the lowest totem pole of higher places, to go out and mitigate the us against them when that was not the purpose of it. And the system is broken, and thank goodness there are no few who realize the disease and have departed and removed themselves. Yet there are those still being enamored in. Now they go to the perversions they've allowed created. How do you think the Taliban came to power? And then ISIS came into existence? Because we were somewhere we weren't supposed to be. And here we are where we're supposed to be, and we've created our own enemies, us against us, with labels as if it's a drink, a cool, good, soothing drink, when the drink should be hot and warm and acidic. As above, as below. You think they don't know what they're doing? When it's you who do not know what you're doing. It is you who do not know what you're doing. None of you. If you want to say, is he here beating us up again? I am attempting to shape and mold you. So if you feel like I'm beating you up, then therefore I am beating you up. Up, not down. I am not telling you what you want to hear. That's the problem. That's why you all run over to these individuals, because they tell you what you want to hear instead of what you need to hear. The world is sick. We're all sick. And we don't have to be, and they know it. They know it. You should know it. Slowly poisoning you. Slowly poisoning everybody. Huh? Huh? What? Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Not today. You know I'm on the camera. I know you saw. Yes. Huh? Oh, come on. Yes. Come on. Come on up, Papa. Come on. Come on. Come on. I know you got something to say. What do you got to say? Go ahead. It's all right. Say what you got to say, Papa. You find it? Is it right there? Where's it at? Oh, this one? This one? Huh? This one? You gotta know how to turn around. You got up there. This one? This one? You didn't want a syllable? You didn't want to... I know what you were saying, dude. Go get the sock. Go get the sock. You got that one sock I found. Go get it. Where's it at? Where's it at? Go get the sock. Over there. Oh, I'm gonna give him his attention. I don't care if I'm live or whatever. He gets it. Y'all always have my attention. If you're gonna send me stuff in Gmail, do not send me stuff as if you're informing me. I'm not here to say I've got a big head. I know a lot, but the stuff that y'all are sending me, I appreciate it. I will share it. I don't need it. We can build, but you must first build yourself. You must build yourself before I accept any information. I'm going to accept it and I'm going to share it. But there are those who don't know. So I'm not here to say I know. I am just going to let you know. You figure it out. If you can't figure it out, you've got a lot of work to do. I don't need the information. When I say build, do you know what I mean by building? I'm not talking about the structure. Your sound structure. That is what I'm saying. You cannot feel or perceive what I constitute until that moment. Then you won't have to send me that stuff. I know that's where you're at. I am not knocking you. I am saying you can go beyond that. Because it's a burden I carry, yo. It's a heavy burden. I have to say it's a burden. It's not that it is, but I have to say that. So you can have a little understanding of what I'm saying. I want to read The Lands of Mars. I'm just going to read this and two others, and then we'll take it from there. I'm going to go off and come back in a couple hours. I'm going to set it up, put a time, so that way you can let and infuse everybody else with, hey, look, come on over. We'll do a little short talking. And I want y'all to know that any conversation, and I know some of you don't swear at all, and that's a beautiful thing. And we know that swearing is not the true language of it, but we don't have to use the contemptuous language that we have. I just done it because I knew that people like drama. I raised my frequency, and I'm not talking about in a good way, very negative way. Trust me, when you go, it's not in lieu with the earth or anything. If you, in truth, can't mitigate a conversation this way, upon these vernaculars, regardless of how you utilize it, and you have to use all the F's and this, that, and other, then you are not showing an elevation. You're not showing a higher self. I always have to go out into the field and use whatever to I detest the word gravity, to have you gravitate in this direction. The system wants to watch, it wants to see, it wants to make confusion of what is unconfusing or non-confusing. I'm going to pick up where I left off at. Again, this is The Lands of Mars, 178 worlds under the Great Dome. Eridana, human colony, massive human, but these places are very close to us within the circle environment. 3. Excuse me. Because we was at chapter 2, Mars, a Great Zoo, and we pretty much knocked it in the butt. We had a little ways to go, and it was right out here on The Lands of Mars, when it says, such was his confusion upon entering that he was also immediately visited by beings from Orion. Let's turn this down more. The music cannot over, even though it's not copyright. Such was his confusion upon entering that he was also immediately visited by beings from Orion, who accompanied him until he stepped on the lands of Era, the first lands near the passage. That's the passage to our world. Bird was accompanied by a member of the custodians known as Nimrod. Remember, we read this, who obviously knew these lands very well and also spoke with the beings that inhabited it. Then gathered the human colony that at that time occupied another part of the era, but with that time and some conflicts with other beings had to take refuge gas. Excuse me. My body's expelling a lot of toxins. Inhabit the island away from the mainland. Former politicians, members of important agencies, I need you to reiterate this for you to hear, and well-known characters from the past gave rise to one of the largest human gatherings within the misnamed Red Planet. Biden got that when Obama put that thing around his neck. That is his passage after this term, as long as he stays alive, to leave and go live a little longer. Why would you take such a diseased and decrepit individual? I'm just saying in my own opinion. I'm not saying that's facts. So anyway, it gave rise to one of the largest human gatherings within the misnamed Red Planet. In his circle, misnamed Red Planet, in his circle environment, there is no room for many humans, only for a handful of those who did homework for the custodians and earned their one-way ticket. While at first inhospitable, lands for even those who visited in the beginning, in recent times, humans began to grow in numbers and adapted well to the island to carry on their development in allied communication with their neighbors. Having expanded their longevity, that this leads them to being beings that learn many tasks and have much knowledge. Weapons technology of warfare is developed for attack and defense in conjunction with the technology that was given to them by the custodians in ancient times. I'm going to say this and put this out there before I get to the human colony. These weapons are being allowed to go to levels you can't even expect because they're all going to be shut down in the less than a fraction of a second. So they can do their greatest and their best evil and further perpetuate themselves stuck in a system. It doesn't matter if this has been going on for a million years. When it comes to an end, it's going to be so abrupt and so destructive. And it won't be by any of theirs, or anyone's hands, tentacles, claws, whatever you want, energy, whatever. I was told to say that. Anyway, while some humans and other beings might be aware of the ideas that the custodians and Anunnaki leaders have about the use of the Mars lands, they would never rebel against them, more so considering that returning to the known lands would also not be a big deal for those who manage to leave. In short, these lands are considered as in a great zoo, where they study the different behaviors, confrontations, and conflict resolution. A huge farm of exhaustive monitoring and analysis of races. In their past, they did it in the so-called clone lands, or Second Earth, Clone Wars. But then the plan was abandoned for various reasons that we will analyze in depth later in other books. But it is that's why there's more books going to be coming out, guys. But it is worthwhile because you can draw several conclusions of how these parasitic races think and why they abandon lands. It could be a starting point in the analysis, of the lands where we live and those around us. Now, Second Earth lands of clones is almost similar to this, but not much, with the 3 rings and the fact that there are lands right beyond the rings that we have, that we once knew and even occupied, where the greatest of us fell. Chapter 3, the rent. Here, I get a picture. I believe for $22 you can actually buy the big one. Okay. All right. So anyway, chapter 3, the Red Planet, stained with blood, with innocent blood. The way to Mars is only one way for humans, and the way to Mars is only one way ticket for humans, and for all those races that inhabited these lands. In parentheses, it states, except for the custodial and Anunnaki leaders. End of parentheses. But were they always inhabited by these beings? The answer is no. The original race of Martians was annihilated in its entirety when the colonizers passed through their fields, membranes, or domes. And in parentheses, it states, as you prefer the term. End of parentheses. The time running is different from the known, but innocent death was also present there, and perhaps as never before. The Anunnaki were the first intruders that cut the Martian liberties and imposed themselves before their millions of inhabitants. The fight was bloody, considering a total massacre of which of which the records of the custodians do not have in detail. People do not have no self-control. Since the attack was fierce before the Martians that could do little, since their technology was based on their welfare and spiritual development. And here we are, we're not even allowing ourselves to elevate. And I keep reaching out to y'all, and y'all just keep dismissing it because you're so caught up in the world you live in, arguing with your mate who ain't your mate at all, because you had children with them, holding yourself a slave to something that y'all not even, especially for you women and men who are married, you don't even belong to each other. It's just sad. Anyway, and they had neither war techniques nor weaponry to defend themselves. The story tells that the last Martians committed suicide. Some theorize with the possible escape of a small group of survivors, but the version that has more weight is the one that tells that all of them were killed by the hands, stained with innocent blood by the parasitic Anunnaki race. There are types of plants that can only be found in these enormous and beautiful lands, full of life and color, inhabited by intruders and races that in many cases were forced to move. The control of the parasites that took over this place is still at its maximum level, also based on security. It is very complex to enter these lands by its only passage that opened the way to exploration, and that was also the fatal destiny of the originals and of a future Mars that we will never see. And it's only about 65,000 miles away, probably, but guesstimated by the maps when you look at the lands. So they can fly these ships and be there and land somewhere else and take off in another ship, and they're building things out there that y'all have no clue about. They've been doing it. And I proved to you that we can levitate. I proved to you that we can have machines, these planes and fighter jets, all that is crap. We're talking about the 6th gen. They have things. Do you know that if me and you were on some land and you had a big thing on the ground, we could build a machine that can levitate, fly, and it's easy to make, I'm going to say, electric weapons beyond that. I had developed something 25 years ago with salt water. Water with salt, distilled water with salt, certain metals within the water that can keep one from corroding, the other one from acting up and overburdening with water solidified magnets. I'm just throwing this out there because I'm an inventor. And a way for it to have a capacitors, bursts of what it's called a series of capacitors, with certain material in between those so that we don't have off discharges to continual pulse while the other one's charged, to continue that pulse like perpetual energy created from air winds as the thing is moving, and those magnets moving across another one with a cooled space by refrigerants in that circle to cause the craft to lift, and then to be able to direct it by simply with your mind. A certain diet, once a day, cause it to change vectors based upon air pulses, superheated air pulses. That's why I keep telling you there's no gravity. I'm not going to say no more because I'm going to be saying too much. And I designed this. And 2 friends said, man, that looks feasible. But I didn't let them see everything because I love doing this stuff. Now, Chapter 4, The Ancestral Expedition, The Writings of Captain Raoul. In addition to the data collected by the custodians, In addition to data collected by the custodians in times of the Great War, there are also stories of ancestral Republic navigators who ventured into exploration in conjunction with giant technology on a risky passage to the cursed waters of Mars. Long ago, a surviving navigator from the ancient lands, known before the last reset, had the idea of visiting lands across the second dome or membrane, and set out with 3 other companions on their adventure to those lands. Although it was well enough known that these were dangerous lands and that there were possibly humans who had been even betrayed their own brothers to inhabit them. Listen, who had even betrayed their own brothers to inhabit them, the lands. Captain Raoul's team was not deterred at all, and using the help of ancient technology from the ancient giant humans, they were able, and they want you to hate them as if they were the Nephilim. Anyway, I think y'all should know that by now. They were able to reach the gate of the great icebergs near the Bird's Strait Channel, and that is what it's called. Look it up. These were not times. So, this is us. This is them. The Anunnaki over here, and the custodians are over here. The Ancestral Republic is not that far. The problem is, we'll get to that one day. These were not times for visits, although perhaps it is never a good time to enter lands controlled by the enemy. Overcoming the passage was the most complicated to avoid the radars, and that tidal waves or earthquakes are generated in the frozen area of the ice walls. And then, when crossing them, they could also receive them with any type of automatic weaponry of attack by intrusion. Automatic weaponry. They managed to break through the two most complex points in their dome membrane. This is the record still kept in the archives of the giant humans of the Isles of Thoth and the Republic History Centers. Captain Raoul, we sighted the land of Aera and are nearing descent. We have apparently not been detected as marked by the Cree 58 anti-radar base. Understood. Gather the necessary information and please approach the ring. Rendezvous point B. Captain Raoul. Copy that. We will start our return at the stipulated time. But the previously stipulated time passed very quickly, and from the base they received no more news. A climate of great concern was generated, although there were several escape plans. The reality is that the mission carried an extremely high risk because they could not rescue them. There was no possibility of visualizing their real position. Besides, if they were kidnapped, they would also know sooner or later the lands that the ancestors occupied after they escaped from the known lands. One of the 4 members of the team communicated to the base in code, reporting that they were on their way back, but had been attacked and the body of the captain was lying dead in the ship. Once again, they were attacked on the way back, but they were able to get through each and every one of them. They were able to return in one piece to the base in the ancient lands of Anak. The ancient lands of Anak is right outside our walls, people. That is South America. That's Anak. All right? The Ancestral Republic is right out there too. And they're kind of a midway that has some kind of control, that's even if they're still there, y'all. What do you do with the people who move on hope and is misguided by fake pastors and preachers and pimps, and then all hope is lost? How do you save a people who if they see you, would be fearful of it? Anyway, other notes were kept in the archives of the Republic, such as the structure of its buildings, the technology that was developed there, and some experiments such as the continuation of the Philadelphia experiment. A writing was found on the ship among his notes about the majestic paradisical view of Area. The sky here glimpses, the sight of visitors, all is shared serenity. Time seems to be a faithful reflection of the ancients, who once reigned their fields of the brightest green and full of life, who could inhabit these lands in the most peaceful way and populate with their eternal love, watching their children grow. Lands of Mars, Era, Human Colony, Eridina. This is a beautiful map. And we have chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 7. And those are the last 3. And we'll cover those tomorrow. Maybe I'll finish it later. And we're over an hour, so I will go off, take care of whatever this is, and come back. And we'll get into that. And then from that, no, let's leave that right here. No, from that, we'll go ahead, because the Heaven Bearers got me stuck, y'all. I even read a paragraph or 2 last night before I fell asleep. Then we'll go ahead. I was going to read this, but we'll read this. We'll start everything off with this, just so we can have them a little more bothered, which I don't even give a damn no more, because they're fake. Okay? My Jewish uncles can say they're fake. They're fake. Somebody would try and silence me with that bullshit. They're fake. That's why I keep telling you, you are more powerful than you think. And everything has always been right before you, but you're always being silenced because you don't know no better. All right? Let me give a shout out to those. Who is this, Charlotte? Hey, Charlotte, I appreciate it. I didn't know who that was. If that was you, Charlotte, my apologize. Love you. That's Charlotte Shepherd, yo. That was our peoples. I saw a different face. I didn't know what it was. It was like a character. I was like, who was that interrupted? My apologies. Anyway, so we're going to get into that reading. And let's not, if you're feeling some kind of way, if you feel good, good. If you feel some kind of way, I might just need to take a poop. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. No. When I went outside, I felt it when I came out. I saw my boy's face, and I was like, dude, you all right? He looked at me. He had to go to work, and I was like, oh. And it weighs anything that y'all are going through. I always converse with people, no matter what they're going through. And it weighs heavy on me, and I know why, but I don't want to speak on it. All right? All right? Trust me. All right? So we're going to come back, and we're going to read. Let me give a shout out to everybody, all right? Rondo, Grand Elevations, Great Wolf, much love, Original Lone Wolf. Nichelle Marquise. My daughter had a cat that was their name. That's awesome. Again, peace, Great Wolf. I don't see everybody's when they pop up. I think some things pop up, but I don't read when I'm doing my thing. I come back. I feel the emotions get in our way. Well, don't let it get in your way is what I'm telling you. Truth is truth. Yes, it is. And no more, no less. That's right. Burn the night out, Rondo. Grand Elevations. Benji, Nancy. Grand Elevations to you as well. Yeah, B-Tree. What's cracking? Appreciate you. What's going on, Mamacita? Sister's all right. I know she's all right. All right. Equator 7. Everybody. Y'all already know I love y'all. Anyway, to our fabulous ladies, our women, our real women, and to our true brothers, the true men, the man of all things, I salute you guys. And I'll get back with y'all here in a little bit. All right?